Airbnb is coming to the stock market. It will become a public company by the end of the year. And what you need to know before you invest in this IPO, all about that in this video. Okay, so let's describe the status quo first. So Airbnb was this one big unicorn that revolutionized how we have experience in different cities and is an alternative to the hotel industries. And though they don't own any hotels or properties, they are one of the biggest transaction companies ever in this business. So actually, people can list their private properties, rooms, entire homes, anywhere in the world, and people from anywhere in the world can book over their platform the big experience, much cheaper, much local, much more fun, and all of this are pretty safe, and greatly made for this kind of new share economy that we have. Okay, now if you want really to dive deep into that, into the philosophy, the challenges that they had ahead of them, I really recommend the book Upstarters here. It was published and described the whole story of Uber as well as Airbnb. Both companies had a tremendous way to be there where they are now, okay? Though they are still a private company, there was rumors over the last couple of years how they can come public. Now, there's actually two ways that it's speculated how they can come to the market. The one is a merger. So a merger we have seen now in Nikola, Virgin Galactic, and all of these different companies that are directly coming to the stock market by merging with a SPAC company, special acquisition company, that were created by some venture fund companies or by some hedge fund companies. And actually there's a second, more interesting as well, method that is out there, which for example was used for the Slack IPO. This is a direct listing where actually, not new money will be raised at the IPO, but just the stocks available will be just traded on the stock market. And for example, if I would hold now 10,000 shares of Airbnb and now it's a private holding, everything would come to the stock market, and this is how a direct listing would work more or less. Now, if you think that this is something that is interesting for you, then wait a second, because we are now deep diving in some numbers. Okay, so let's dive into some numbers here. So first of all, according to some sources like the Wall Street Journal, the valuation currently is hovering around $18 billion. Apparently, a couple of months it was already $36 billion. So we almost, halved the valuation just because of the health crisis. Now, they did about $2.6 billion in revenue. And I believe that if you considering a growth of, let's calculate this together, okay? So if you have a $2.6 billion revenue, I assume that the gain every year would be about 20%. Okay, let's take 20%. So 2018 would be around 3.12, and then 2019 3.7. So let's assume that they make maybe somewhere around, I don't know, it's very hard to say now because of Corona. And let's take a 3.5 as an average, okay? So after Corona, they will reach those numbers pretty much very soon. So let's take a $3.5 billion in revenue as a calculation format for the PS ratio. The PS ratio, as you know, is the ratio that will see, okay, the valuation divided by the sales will be telling us a number on how much this company has as a PS ratio, and then we will compare it to other companies. Okay, so let's go for it. So 18 billion divided by 3.5 is about 5.14 PS ratio. Now, is this high? Is this low? Well, I believe that for a growth stock like this, it is on the midfield. I mean, Amazon for a long time went with 3 to 5 as a PS ratio. Amazon is, one of the biggest and best growth companies out there. And then we have Tesla, for example. The PS ratio is much higher. And then we have even Beyond Meat, where the PS ratio is even in the 20s. But the PS ratio, for example, for Shopify is even in the 40s. So as you can see, it's highly dependent on the business, because Amazon, for example, is not only a software company, but also have this warehouses and delivery centers and so on. So it's always depending on the business itself. But if you assume this, I feel that the valuation could be, on the medium side, so not too much, not too low. So let's see how it really will be priced on the market. Now, if I see this kind of brand new IPOs, I think about, what kind of company is, comparable to that. And obviously it is definitely Uber. And in my opinion, Uber did a big mistake. They went on the stock market with a valuation of about, I think, $80 billion, way too late for the business to grow on the public markets, and had a lot to prove and so on and so forth. So I think this was a mistake the Airbnb don't want to do, and therefore they are coming already, quite, let's say, halfway that Uber have done in the past, and therefore I think this is quite interesting. But let's see, talking about Uber, if Uber is something comparable, how they did on since the IPO, right? And if you're looking into the chart, they actually, did their IPO somewhere in 2019, in May, 5th of May, and they lost about 30% of their value on the stock market. Because, the questions that I'm asking and that we will discuss in the conclusion of this video is really, what is the next product? What is the next Airbnb product once, the growth is at the zenith, right? So this will be the questions. And the questions like this, we are discussing after the vlogs and after the live streams here on this channel in my Discord chat. And if you want to join, this is the best community out there, okay? Press the join button below all my videos and live streams, and you can get access and support the channel. And you can even get one-on-one with me, where we discuss stocks, portfolio, we can discuss, economy, or your favorite investments and what is my opinion about it. So if you are very interested, check it out. There's 3 tiers. The Wolf Gold membership is supporting the channel. The Real Wolf will get you access to our Discord chat, and the third and last will definitely give you one-on-one with me, which no other YouTube investment person out there is offering you even closely. So let's dive into conclusion. So if you ask me personally, and I know we both have this relationship here on this channel, if not, if you're a new one, then smash that subscribe button. Now, if you're thinking, is this IPO something I would invest in? I would definitely be encouraged to, but not crazy about it, okay? Because of a couple of things. Now, we have seen some numbers. We have seen how Uber performed. We know that the hotel business is currently in a big question mark, and we don't know for how long. And there's a couple of things that currently, things that I would like to see first, okay? So what is their next product? I mean, we have seen it with Apple, right? First came the computer, then the MP3 player, then the iPhone. So companies need to evolve, or Amazon, right? First they had their e-commerce business, then they have AWS, right? The big internet data centers that actually almost the whole internet is stored on. So as you can see, a company need to evolve. So I'm very curious, and I cannot see it now because the other features that they are promoting now are more like additional add-ons to their business model, like the experiences that you can book with locals. So I'm very curious to know what is their next product, how they can expand. And this is something that I need to, maybe do more research on, but it's not clear for me. And also you have seen how volatile the valuation was over the last couple of weeks and months, from 36 billion to 18 billion. So it's not like we are currently, having like a child that is, growing tremendously. but it's actually shrinking, especially in this kind of times where innovative companies are way ahead. I'm very curious to see if this is not a very significant scar in their business. Okay, so let's see about that. I also want to know more about their financials, right? How their balance sheet look like. Do they have positive cash flow over the last years? How does it look for the debt, right? Because this kind of experiences, like the health crisis or other crises, if there's very high debt, this can be very, very dangerous for a company. Then I would like to know the further growth into the main business as well as the further growth ahead, right? I mean, and these things are come up usually with the quarter releases and the quarter PRs. And, once I have this information, I can definitely say, I'm very interested into this big unicorn that disrupting the hotel industry, or I rather pass. Well, standpoint now, okay, from the information and research that I have done, I would pretty much wait and not jump right into the IPO, okay? The current environment is so different and new, and I really would like to see how this IPO is and how the people are, value Airbnb before jumping into something like this. And for me, the much more growth and future perspective is the most important that I focus on my investments. As you know, I invest and I can wait. I'm a super patient person. I can, make one investment per year. I have no problem with that, but I want to be super, super confident about it, okay? Look at my old videos, right? We talked about Tesla very heavily, and you could 10x your money. I'm very much focused on Virgin Galactic, and I think that 10xing your money on that investment is also possible, and super loving that we're currently going to lower levels, so the average price of the stock goes lower, and we can more easily 10x our money. And therefore, this kind of opportunities happen when the stock is currently a little bit on the market and you have a more understanding of the stock. And therefore I'm waiting, but you definitely will hear more about the Airbnb IPO here on this channel.